Every single product, no matter how you spin it, no matter how you advertise it, no matter how you market it, you have to address the four P's: price, product, place, promotion. No matter what, service or product, it all have it in the process. So know what that's going on in your marketing program. Product, price, place, promotion, the four P's. And then you also have a marketing manager that's going to coordinate it as to how you're going to address each one of them. What is the product? What's the price? And by the way, that product, are there comparable products out there as well? Okay, if that's the case, what is the price of those products? You're always having a location. You're always having what is the product? What are the competitors? How are you doing? Was that promotion out there working well? You have a marketing manager, and their job is to balance the current four P's of marketing for your aspect as to what's going on the product. First of all, you have to find the opportunities, conduct the research on it, and then once you do all that, identify your target market. Be careful because sometimes your target market is not what you think. Nice clothes for children. Well, okay, you always tend to focus in on the 20-year-olds because that's the group you tend to think have children. What about those 50 and 60-year-olds? We call them grandparents. With them, you can actually sell them clothes too for the grandchildren, but I would charge more money for them because they have more money. The 20-year-olds, they're probably busy trying to make ends meet, but the 50 and 60-year-olds, they've already made those ends meet a long time ago, and they have nobody in the house. They're empty nesters, a lot of them, and they have lots of money. Go after them too. So you get the product. Then identify the price. Then identify the place that you're selling it, and then look at the promotion. Did you know that there's some neighborhoods that are really geared to really children that are K through fifth grade? They're kind of like an elementary school neighborhood, and then you'll see them selling their homes, moving to a middle school neighborhood, and then you'll have high school neighborhood, and eventually the empty nester neighborhood. So you'll see neighborhoods that kind of evolve around the similar groups of different demographics in the process. You'll also know that if you're closer to the ocean, you'll have one demographic. If you go inland, you have a different one altogether. California, our demographic is totally different than anything that's in Nebraska. Yes, we're all human beings. We all have similar traits, maybe on the physical aspect of it, maybe even language and so on. But the reality is you have a difference in income, difference in attitude, difference in style, different ways of doing things on a regular basis. In my case, you might notice I sometimes talk fast. If I'm in the deep south, I always have to remember that and try to slow down because they talk slower. And when I talk at my normal speed like this, they say, "What was that again?" I've learned better, so be careful. So I always try to throttle it down, and it's really hard for me because of who I am and how fast I talk. But that being said, that's part of that place aspect of it. And then what about promotion? How do you promote it, and how are you going to sit down there and include different aspects of that? We teach a lot about this in Entrepreneurship 211 because we actually deal with the different types of things where we go through and look at different business models. But promotion could be one thing on social media and a totally different thing in the aspect of a physical product that you're selling. What about printed media? We still received a lot of different printed advertising. It is not dead. It's dominated by social media advertising, but a lot of times in social media, you sit down and go click, 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 and the promotion's gone. When you get something in the mail, you have to touch it. Even if you're going to throw it away between the house and the mailbox, you have to touch it and you get to look at it sometimes a lot longer than something on your phone. So make certain the four P's, they're balanced and you're paying attention as to what you're doing. So on the product, it could be a good or service, an idea that you have, test market it. People like brand names. Brand names. We like to have brand names. It's kind of like the American way. Really, once upon a time in a class, I says, okay, we're gonna pretend that we're gonna in business and we're gonna create polo shirts. So what's the first thing you do? Get a brand name. I kind of says, well, actually, he's right. I mean, the reality is we like brands and we tend to stick with brands, things that we're satisfied with, or when we're not satisfied with the brand, we avoid that brand on top of that. A brand name today is a big deal. So make sure you have a good one. Set the appropriate price that's out there and make certain you want to match the competitors or beat the competitors, or sometimes you want to go higher. There's a beer out there that's called Miller High Life beer. Now, I am not a beer drinker, especially anything in the area called Miller High Life, except once upon a time, Miller was a cheap beer on the East Coast. They wanted to make more money. So they moved to the West Coast and they changed the whole marketing thing that all of a sudden says, this is the champagne of bottled beer. Well, it wasn't the champagne about 4 months before on the East Coast, but now, and all of a sudden they jacked the price way up. People went for it, and all of a sudden Miller became a premium beer, even though it was exactly the same thing. They changed the label on it, they raised the price on it, and all of a sudden, boom, they made a lot more money in the process. On the appropriate price, pay attention to the competitors' prices. How much does it cost you to make? What is the distribution cost in the supply chain? And then what kind of promotions that's involved? You normally have a budget for the promotion. And then you want to make certain that after you get the right price, that you get the product to the right place. That's a big deal. Here in Orange County, California, we have a massive diversity of different types of nationalities. And talk about getting the product to the right place. If you have something from this country, or something from this country, or something from this country, we have a population that might fit. It's a really good place because we have so much diversity. Diversity is a cool word, and I realize that we have everybody beating the drum about diversity, this percent. I view diversity as a good way to make money. If you have an opportunity to sell this type of product over here, you're going to have people from that ethnicity over there, but you'll also get people from other ones experimenting, interested in that type of cuisine, that type of fashion, or whatever. It's a cool place to be in the aspect of getting it at the right place. And then finally, have the different techniques to make certain you have promotion. Advertising, personal selling. Don't discount personal selling. People like word of mouth. Public relations, publicity, sales promotion, different aspects of it. But here, always know these 4 Ps: price, product, place, and promotion. That's critical. Every product, every service has some methodology, some variation on the 4 Ps of marketing. There's variables and it'll have a big impact, and make certain that today you must have some type of digital footprint, whether it's social media or web. It has a big impact on almost everything today, including follow through, including how many stars you receive for people to refer you in the process. The marketing mix, the 4 Ps. Take care.